Here on the Full Court Press, it's one of the best men in the business. It's Utah State head softball coach, Coach Steve Johnson, here on the Full Court Press. Coach, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well.
We're doing well. Hey, what has this COVID-19 situation been like as they cancel your softball season? What are your duties like?
Well, I tell you what, it's been really weird because obviously this is the busiest time of the year for us, and we're normally on the road 3-4 days out of the week, and then playing at home and doing everything. So all of a sudden to have that taken away, it's weird. It's just a strange, weird feeling. As coaches, we certainly have some things that we're taking care of, but the kids are kind of they're not used to this much time off and not having any structure. So it's just been kind of a strange time, like everybody. But fortunately, we're all healthy and safe. So really, our focus right now has been on our kids' academics. We're finishing up school here in another couple weeks. And so most of our kids have gone home. We've got a few left in Logan, but we're just staying on top of their academics, making sure everybody stays eligible for next fall. And then, little things that we can do remotely here and there. Right now, we're kind of focusing on some budget issues and trying to figure out what next year is going to look like and going through different scenarios. But other than that, it's a little bit thin right now until we get to hopefully the summer recruiting season.
Coach, you brought up next year, and budget issues certainly is a big thing to be considering. The NCAA has said that those in spring sports had their seasons canceled could come back for another year of eligibility and would have another year granted to them. Do you feel like you'd have any on your roster that might take advantage of that? And then, in addition to that, how might that affect some of your other plans for your other underclassmen?
Well, right now, it doesn't appear we've got a lot of it's going to depend on what the financial side looks like for those kids. And some of these kids, when they get to this age, they're prepared to move on. They've put their 4 years in. Sometimes you get some injuries out there. Sometimes they're looking at the next phase, whether that's a job or grad school. And so mentally, a lot of them were kind of prepared to be done. And so right now, we don't have anybody committed to coming back. But if we're also waiting on from our administration what the financial possibilities are with that, and we'll go from there. If anybody does come back, obviously it's just like any other situation. The best player is going to go out and play, and certainly some of these kids that they've got the experience and been out there and through the battle, so they might have a leg up on some things. But it's not to say that someone else doesn't come along and take a spot. So really, it's just kind of up in the air. We're just waiting to hear financially what the administration is going to offer these kids and how we're going to approach that. I think John's been quoted as if all the seniors came back that could, it's a pretty hefty price tag. I think somewhere in the range of $400,000 when we're already tight with losing the NCAA money. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see on that. But right now, I'm not anticipating a whole lot, if any, at all, come back.
Coach, the last game you guys played was on March 7th. You finished 13-11. What did you learn most about your team through those first 24 games?
They're a lot of fun. It was kind of a roller coaster. We were kind of up and down. We had one of our best weekends since 1981. We won some big games, and I think we saw some people step up. Capri Toon was certainly first and foremost in that. She threw a no-hitter, was just throwing lights out, especially second weekend of the season and the weekend we finished up right there at over in San Jose. But seeing some kids for the first time get out and play. We have a set of twins, the McFarland sisters. They both started, one in left, one in behind the plate and at first base, and they're true, real competitors. But really going through, we were just starting to hit our stride, and that was the tough part about stopping right where we did. That we were just getting ready for conference play. We had a couple games to go with our non-conference. We were playing UVU in a couple games and then rolling into conference. And we were feeling really confident. But that was the biggest thing was just we were learning to play with each other, and we had a lot of confidence and learning how to continue to have fun. And that was our group. When we were loose and we were having fun, we were really successful. And so I think that's just something as we look forward into next year now. Obviously, the team dynamics changed, but I think we kind of have a feeling of where we're at, and we got a lot returning. So it's exciting to kind of move forward with that.
A player you may or may not have back, senior outfielder Riley Plogger, record setter, and was on track to break several other records. Talk about the career that she had and the type of season that she was having for you to this point before everything got canceled.
Yeah, Riley's had a tremendous career. She was actually one of the first recruits that we went after when I got out here. I had met her, December of 2012. I remember it. When I was at my previous school, we did a camp out in California, and she was out there, and she was just a ball player and a competitor, and came from a really great family. And she came in and was started for us that freshman year, the year we almost won the conference. And it was kind of interesting because we had such great senior leadership. She just learned from everybody, and she'll say she was just kind of along for the ride. She didn't know really what she was doing because she was doing so well. But she has performed consistently throughout. But she's been a bigger part as a leader for this program, and the things that she's done for the program, but also for the athletic department. She's the president of our SAC group and has done a really good job, especially in these times, kind of rallying the troops and working with administration to get together. But, as far as a leader on the field, you're not going to find anybody better. A kid that's going to work hard, is going to keep her nose straight and get things done. This year, she'd been a 3-year starter in left field. And when Maisie McFarland came in, she was the left-hander. We just experimented putting her out there in left field, and it kind of fit. And Riley moved over to right field, didn't say a peep. And that takes leadership, and that when you leave a starting spot, not that she didn't come off the field, but when you move positions around in that senior year, sometimes that can be difficult. But she went with it and was having a great year, and certainly if she doesn't return, it's going to be a big loss for us, and big shoes we got to fill for next year.
You have a local gal on your team, Tyler Thornton, out of Ridgeline High School. Tell us what you've seen out of her so far.
Tyler is she's a fantastic kid. Again, another kid from a great family, and just a super competitor, big athlete, and that's a big thing. And she could probably start. Defensively, she was the number one backup in about 4 different spots, infield and all 3 of the 4 infield positions. So she's just one heck of an athlete, and her big thing is she's just learning to catch up to some of the college game stuff. There's some thinking things, some speed of the game things that she hadn't experienced, just not being able to play year round like some of our California, Arizona kids have. But the kid just works tremendously hard. She's got her head on straight. She knows that she's kind of a big leader in the Valley for the local softball kids. And she's just determined to give back. And so, kid, certainly she's got some tremendous potential, tremendous upside, and hopefully we get everything back on track and get rolling in the fall. She'll be able to step up and keep growing, and I think she'll definitely compete for a starting spot next year.
Coach, early in the season, you guys had a play that doesn't always happen with regularity in softball like it does in baseball, and it was determined the NCAA softball #1 play of the week. You guys turned a triple play. First time that's happened at USU since 2006. Describe the play, and then why is it so rare in softball?
Well, it's the play itself. It was kind of crazy. We caught. It was a soft line drive. I think the runner at second thought the ball had gone through, didn't see it, and Ryan, who was at second base, kind of caught it right before it hit the ground, and just she went to first. She was already leaning towards first base, and so she did a good job of getting that girl first, and then went back to second. And the kids knew exactly what was going on, and quite honestly, I had a little brain freeze. I was waiting because we went with the line drive. We went to first and then went to second, and I kind of had a senior moment there, and I forgot that it didn't matter that they were all force outs, and so I was waiting for him to challenge the play because I thought we had to go to second and then to one, but the kids were super pumped about it, and it was fun to get all that recognition. Anytime your program can get out there on a national spotlight like that, and the social media interactions, obviously in today's world, is everything. It was fun to get that. The kids love that attention, and so that was great. But it's such a rare thing in our sport because the bases are so close, and double plays can happen pretty routinely in baseball, but even those are fairly rare in our game, and so it's just the speed of the game. When your bases are only 60 feet away, you don't have to be that fast to beat some things out. So it was a big moment for us, and it was certainly one of the memories from this season that we'll take with us.
Utah State head softball coach Steve Johnson joins us here on the Full Court Press. Coach, I know you talked about Tyler Thornton being one of the up-and-coming underclassmen who could do some big things for you. What other underclassmen are you looking at and that fans should be looking at to have a big impact on your softball team?
Well, I think the two that stand out the most right away is the twins, Maisie and Mackenzie McFarland. They both started every game for us coming in as freshmen. So Maisie started out in left field in every game, and then her sister Mackenzie started both at catcher and at first base. And they're just tremendous athletes. They again, two more kids that are great athletes, but also they're even better people. They're just great leaders. They're not necessarily the vocal leaders yet with Riley out there, but I think they're going to roll into that spot very easily. But they want to outwork you. We had a Zoom call with the team a week ago, and in about 2.5 weeks since they'd gone home, they'd run 32 miles, and they've been working out in their garage, and that's just the kind of kids they are. They won or they were awarded the December Strength Student Athlete of the Month, but they're just tremendously hard workers. But they're great players, and I think one thing they learned, they started off really hot, and then when they had a little bit of a struggle, once the scouting report got out on them, the biggest thing that they're going to have to overcome next year is getting frustrated and letting that take them out of their game. When they play free and loose, they're tremendous athletes and tremendous players for us. So I think those are two right away that you'll see have a big impact for us in the future. Capri, again, she's another one. She's a sophomore. Learned a lot last year and then came out and really, starting in the second weekend, took off. I think she pitched in 3 of our 5 games. Like I said, threw a no-hitter against, I believe it was San Diego. Came back down in San Jose last weekend. Came out, and we were really kind of struggling a little thin with some of our pitching, and she went out and gave us everything she had. We had a 4-in-1 weekend. She was tremendous. So she's another one who took a huge leap forward from her freshman to her sophomore year. Gabby Jimenez was another one, started either at catcher or first base. Again, she learned a lot last year and really put that into play here in the springtime, and was just hitting tremendously for us and jumped over at first base. Her and Mackenzie both moved to first base a little bit because we needed their bats in the lineup. And did a really great job over there. So, and of course, and Lexia Roscoe is our shortstop. She was the returning all-conference kid we had. She was on another tear, hitting over 300. I think she had 4 or 5 home runs already. We've got a really good young core coming back. We have a couple kids in the junior class, Steph Reed, Kennedy here, who started this year. So having a lot of that return is really nice to see.
Coach, this just a general question about the sport of softball. How have you seen it evolve or change, especially at the high school level, where you're recruiting, trying to bring those players into your program to compete where they need to be among some pretty good Mountain West teams?
You know, we look, our recruiting base obviously is a state school. We want to recruit. What I always say is we want to recruit the best kids in the state of Utah that are going to help us win in the Mountain West. And does that mean we can recruit Utah exclusively? No. Do we recruit nationally? No, we don't do that either. But we're going to recruit in our footprint kind of west of the Rockies here. California, Arizona, Utah are really kind of the base areas that we pull from. We've had a few kids from elsewhere. We've got a couple from Texas right now, one that's graduating from Iowa, one from Australia. But you know, when we look at the kids here, it's just a matter of trying to get beyond high school. You know, that's one thing with softball. We really don't recruit high school, even with the better kids, because there's so many kids in high school. There's roughly 475,000 kids that play high school ball, and only 27,000 end up at any level of college. And so to try and compare a kid that we're looking for is in high school, are they going to compete against our Mountain West opponents? It's really tough, and that's where we really look at the travel ball. And so that's the challenge, is making sure we can see kids in a setting that we're going to see them compete against kids that we're recruiting against. And you know, so Capri and Tyler both were with teams that did that. Capri was with and now I'm blanking on the name she was with. She was with the Pegasus, and then moved up. And you know, they went to Colorado. They went to some of these national tournaments, and we could see her go out and compete against those types of teams. And Tyler went out this summer, was with actually the Twins on a team out of Northern California. And you know, we've got Libby Hawker is signed, one of our incoming 20s, and she is part of the Mountain West organization here in Utah. She was a bat buster. The same thing, they went out and played nationally, and so to go see those kids compete on a national level against kids that are going to be against them in college, and we can use that as a better measuring stick than we can the high school game.
Hey, Coach, final question here, and it's kind of an odd one, so just bear with me, though. But it seemed like your equipment manager, Jackson Webb, became a legend over there. As crazy, like just catching bullpen. I heard all sorts of stories from either him or others around. How important, again, it's an odd question, but kind of how important are those equipment managers to help you out? And a guy like Jackson Webb who just could do everything for you.
Well, he must have paid you to ask that question. Jackson is a legend in his own mind. And he picked up, he was coaching a JV basketball team this year. I think it was JV or sophomore, and they won. I think they won the championship or whatever they do. But no, Jackson, all of our managers are super important to us, you know, from catching bullpens to doing the grunt work behind the scenes, taking care of our laundry. But, you know, we've had several. Actually, our assistant coach right now, Bailey Thomas, was with us as both a manager and a volunteer a few years ago. So they are super important for us. And Jax was certainly a special one that, you know, he took a lot of care in what he did. And, you know, we still have a little bit of him left. He made us a little scouting chart bench in our dugout that's still there. He signed it for us and did all that. But yeah, Jackson's quite the guy. I think I don't know what's bigger, his hair or his ego right now.
That's a fair question. Hey, really quickly before we do let you go, you were called to be the head coach of the softball team on June 26th of 2013. You're the 9th head coach to be here. You're in your 7th year, and you're yet the second winningest coach in program history. What in yourself as a coach has progressed or developed from the first year to now?
Just, you know, learning, adapting with the times, figuring out how we're going to win in the Mountain West, utilizing the resources that Utah State gives us, and we've got tremendous resources. You know, but just trying to figure out, you know, from a recruiting standpoint, it took a little bit of time. just establishing, even though I had West Coast connections from recruiting in the SEC, but establishing what our program was going to be about, and then being able to sell that not only to the travel ball coaches who were kind of helping their kids figure things out, but to the kids and to the parents and families. And we've got so many things here in Logan that are tremendous for our kids to come into. And when families look at a place like Logan and they see the safety, they see the mountains and the beauty that we have, it's an easy sell, but you still have to talk to them about what school's about and what the athletic program is going to be about. And so, I think that's just the biggest thing is we had a big year a few years ago. We've got to maintain that consistency through both recruiting and coaching and how we get those things out of kids. And that's the biggest thing for me is adapting our program, is making sure that we set the expectations. And that's one thing that we continue to work on. I think we did a really good job this year building the program. We talk about leaving a legacy, and really it's led by us as coaches, but it's really got to be player driven, and getting that out of them is what's so important, and what will build a consistent model for us to keep winning down the road.
Coach, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe. We look forward to seeing some softball next spring.
All right. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, Coach.